Hey everyone, this is Pastor Nat, and you're listening to Win the Day. This is your daily 5-minute discipleship to help you move closer to God. So to help you do that, today we're going to talk about the dangers of legalism. There are two major threats to Christianity today. First is cheap grace, and second is legalism. Cheap grace says salvation is free. Just ask Jesus into your heart, take the ticket, and then live for yourself till you die. It's cheap grace because it's powerful enough to save your soul, but it's impotent because it cannot change your life. Now, the other threat is legalism. It's that nasty game of religion. It's the performance trap. That's where you are taught you have to add to your salvation. It says, Jesus, he does a lot, but you still have to pull your own weight. Both are threats, and they're dangerous, and to be honest, they're wholly unbiblical. You see, Paul had to fight off both ideas, but he was passionate about fighting off the false teachers of legalism. Listen to Paul's scathing words in Philippians chapter 3, verse 2. Watch out for those dogs, those people who do evil, those mutilators who say you must be circumcised to be saved. Paul, sticks and stones, remember? Sticks and stones may break your bones. Well, Paul, what is he doing? He is coming out with the verbal guns a-blazing. He calls these false teachers some creative names. He calls them dogs, evildoers, and mutilators. Now, he wasn't throwing around random insults. He was calling them out for their behavior. He calls them dogs. Well, you have to understand, at Paul's time, dogs weren't cute little companions or lap pets. They were scavengers. They plagued ancient cities. Dogs were despised. They were despised because they were unclean. They were filthy. So were these false teachers. They needed to be avoided just like these dogs. Paul calls them evildoers. Now, sure, they were religious masters. That's true. They knew what they had to say and how to say it. They knew how to put on a good religious show. You know, Paul did the same thing before meeting Christ. But once Paul was saved, he would say all of that. I consider it a loss. It was rubbish. You see, when you're trying to save yourself, when you're playing the game of religion, you're actually not doing good. You're doing evil because it does nothing for God. Paul then calls them mutilators. He's referring to circumcision, but he uses a certain term, which means to mutilate. You see, circumcision never saved anyone. Rather, it was symbolic of an inward circumcision. But these false teachers, they were hacking themselves and their converts all for nothing. It was true mutilation. Legalism is a real threat to Christianity because it's a lie. Paul would say in Galatians that this false gospel of legalism, it was no gospel at all. It's no gospel because it has no hope. It has no saving power. So we are called to reject it and reject those who teach it. Now, you may be wondering, does this negate sanctification or life change? No. In fact, it supports it. It strengthens the gospel. You see, real salvation, it produces life change. The difference is we obey Christ out of love, not out of adding to our salvation. So here's my challenge for you today. Rid yourself of any legalism in your life. Now remember, I'm not talking about obedience. I'm talking about trying to earn or keep your salvation by your works. Doing good out of obligation or coercion with God rather than out of love, that's what we're talking about. Now, I struggle with this. I have this part of me that says, you know, Nat, it's better to be safe than sorry. But God reminds me, and He is reminding you, you are my masterpiece by grace. Rest in that grace and follow me. So I challenge and I encourage you, get rid of any legalism and follow God out of love. Now that you know what to do, let's go win the day.